I'm here with two of the tri-leaders of the Vote Yes, A Better Way to Fund Schools campaign, Dave Weber and Kevin Berhaney. I want to spend a few minutes. This is a very important vote. People have a lot to think about on election day. They've got a lot of candidates to choose from. In a year where taxes aren't exactly popular, there are a lot of people in the community that come forward to ask for a tax increase, a modest one, but it's not a political question, and one of the reasons we're trying to do the extra information is to keep it out of that political process. This is all of the county schools, numbers of leaders. In fact, I don't remember the last time you had a list as diverse as the people who are supporting this. Everyone from the Kono Group to the Village of Forsyth to the NAACP, the major unions, economic development. It seems like there's a broad-based coalition of supporters out there. I want to start and go back a year or so. You were involved from the very beginning going to these high school task force meetings. Explain how that operated.
Very, very much so, Brian. Actually, it was a year and a half ago, and got together with actually a long-term plan for Decatur schools to address the facility needs, and looked at specifically MacArthur and Eisenhower. A group of community people came together, came up with 4 options. The options were in a range of $103 million to $118 million. Took it out to the public. The public felt that it would have, they did not want a property tax increase. And the only way that those buildings could be addressed at those monetary level was with property tax increase. So we backed it all, looked at a sales tax. The public told us 6-1 that they would support a sales tax for the schools. So we ended up narrowing the options down from a brand new school to remodel to redoing Stephen Decatur to a do nothing option down to one final option, and the public 4-1 voted that they wanted 2 schools. Fits within the sales tax, the $70 million within the sales tax, and we then took it countywide as we started visiting with the sales tax is not citywide, it goes county.
And there are some out there that would say this is some sort of Cadillac plan, and I would argue that you guys have followed a very democratic process along the way, even to the chagrin of some people who wanted you to go bigger. And you've listened to what the people have told you from day one, and the folks who've been involved in this really kind of paved the way to how this ends up. Sales tax is a more equitable way to do this.
Well, we basically say it is a better way to do it. It's you can only handle so much sales tax, and when you do it, so much property tax, and when you do a sales tax, it spreads it throughout the whole county.
And not only
that, yeah.
Visitors who come to the Farm Progress Show or the Decatur Celebration, the pro golf tour that comes down, every time they stay in a hotel or they eat in a restaurant or they buy gas, they're helping to fund our schools.
That's exactly right, and that's why we think it's a better way. And not only that, it's a way to permanently fund all the county's schools, as opposed to have to keep going to the well every time you feel like you need to raise property taxes. What just confuses me is that the chairman of the Republican Party is our only opposition, and I know more Republicans than I do Democrats that think this is a better way. So I don't understand why they took that position.
Well, you say they. The most public Republican probably in our district, as far as the length of time served, is Representative Bill Mitchell, who's planning on voting and has stated publicly that he's voting for this.
He's voting yes.
It's not just District 61; it's all of the county schools. But talk a little bit. You're a guy who supported the parochial schools and he's supported lots of educational efforts. But why is it important to support them? I think you could make the argument that even if it was just for Decatur Public
I talked to Ken Hendrickson this week, who's a principal at St. Teresa High School, and he used to be superintendent in Mount Zion. And he is working really well with District 61. So the public-private relationship is alive and strong in this community. That's a wonderful thing. It hasn't always been that way. He supports this. He's a staunch Republican too. And he says this makes all the sense in the world. He wants to see these property taxes reduced in those areas where they can be reduced in Decatur so they don't go up. And Dave, you know as well as anyone, because of that study, you have life safety issues in Decatur. I'm in Forsyth. Julie Curry, who's the tri-chair, is in Mount Zion. We don't have the issues that Decatur does. But if we don't do something to improve Decatur's high schools, the economic engine of Decatur is going to affect the prosperity of Forsyth and Mount Zion.
Which is why the Village of Forsyth voted to support this publicly.
Yes, I was very proud.
And all of the superintendents are in favor of this. They're all working closely together. You've had the opportunity to get to know some of these folks. The opposition will kind of paint these people as overpaid, underqualified. Tell me about the job they're doing. I see it in District 61 because I'm in District 61. I serve on the foundation board. But you see it with Mike Williams in Forsyth and Darby Brinkotter in Mount Zion. All of these superintendents are doing.
The whole crew, they're doing a super job. In fact, we entered them into the process very early on when the public told us that they would support a sales tax that's countywide. So we started having discussions with, in fact, we met with all of the 8 other school districts within Macon County, and they ended up taking a look at it and figured that they could pay down some bonds, abate some taxes, they had some immediate needs, and so it made a lot of sense countywide, not only for Decatur.
Your average person in Forsyth is going to come out probably ahead of the deal on this.
Well, in Warrensburg, they're really going to come out ahead. Forsyth will come out ahead. Mount Zion will come out ahead. In Meridian, they're going to get their school, which is a 1950s school, the same way as Decatur's a 60-ish type school. But going back to your point about Mike Williams, Darby Brinkotter, and Gloria Davis, you know, I got to know them very well over this process, and I wouldn't have had it not been. If I not got invited by Dave to be a part of this. These are professionals. They really care about these kids, and they really care about their teachers, and they are very passionate. But I've never seen anything like, and Brian, you and I have worked on so many things in this community over the last 15 years of our friendship. I've never seen anything more unifying than this initiative, not just with the superintendents, but with competitors in banks, Republicans, Democrats. You look at all those associations that you named earlier. If this doesn't pass, I will be so frustrated because it only passed for one reason, is because of the opposition. This is so significant, not only for the community well-being, but for the unification of this community. This will show what we can do when we work together collectively on important issues.
And not to mention the latest corporate contributions, you know, ADM stepping up and putting a big seal of approval on a $1.3 million to education in this community, the Education Coalition, all the work that's been done. Quickly, the argument about why do it in November, you know, why not wait until the municipal election? Talk to me about the money saved on interest rates.
I think, as everybody knows, interest rates are at a historic low. Everybody's refinancing their mortgages and so forth. This is no different. A 1% increase in interest rates will probably increase between $10 and $14 million long-term funding. So if there's ever been a better time, we know we have to address it. If we don't do it now, it's going to cost us more down the road.
Why I agreed to come on to this is because of the integrity of the process. Not that I totally agreed with the conclusion. I wish maybe there was one school, but now I'm convinced 2 schools is better. But it's the integrity of your process, Dave, that you went through, and the financial responsibility and integrity of we're gonna take the harder road here for the betterment of the community to save that kind of money, and that is being fiscally responsible.
I know both of these 2 gentlemen, from all the things that we do in the community, they're doing this because they love this community and they're supporting it, they're voting yes. I can tell you personally, it may have been years since you've been into a public school, but literally we're bringing the 2010, 2011 technology into a school that we can't plug it in because it's overloaded in another classroom. We're not talking about putting in swimming pools and new tracks. We're talking basic necessities that have to be funded. This is the fairest way to do it. We're encouraging you to vote yes on Tuesday. This is a better way to fund schools.